your chest to the floor and just release. We're just going to hold here. If it feels comfortable to you, maybe take the knees wider. You can bring them closer. Just let your head fall heavy, look to the side or down if you want. We're going to hold all these for about a minute, just moving locally one pose into the next. Simply releasing that neck, shoulders, back, hips. It's a great stretch to start with. We're going to move on and we're going to thread the needle. So we take one arm, let's do the back arm first. Bring it through so the palm is up. And we lay down on the side of the head. And we're rolling onto that back shoulder, those rear delts, and try to open up that upper back. So you're kind of rolling onto that shoulder blade to try to pull it open, if that makes sense. And you're trying to pull the flesh off the shoulder blade. Like women, especially postpartum, if you're carrying a baby around nursing, carry a lot of tension in your neck and shoulders. And a lot of demands are put on your postural muscles of the back. So this is a great stretch to help relieve that tension. We're going to go ahead and move directly into the other side. Opener. So now we're going to take the knees wider than the mat. You can even come to the side if you want here. So your knees are supported, feet flexed, toes out, and then just mount your chest to the floor. I'm going to start with my arms closer and just let my chest gently go to the floor. This is going to give you a deep stretch through those inner thighs and your back. So do what feels comfortable here. For me, I'm really tight, so it's hard for me to work down to the floor. If you can get your chest to the floor, you can go ahead and drop all the way down. So you can go here if you're ready. You can stay up a little bit if you're ready. And breathe through this pose, all these poses. So we're going to just take deep breaths in and out. Send oxygen to those muscles to help them release. We're going to move on to our pigeon hip opener. So for this one, we'll start with that left leg back, right leg forward. And then this foot is flexed in the right leg. You're going to pull that foot into your groin and then extend that back leg. If that's too much, you can bend that back leg and keep it at a 90-degree. Now here, if you're feeling good, start to walk the arms down, get deeper into that hip. But try not to just roll over onto that hip. Try to keep the hips square to the floor here. You're building stretch, that side glute. Remain always really tight. We're going to build on this stretch. We're going to take our back leg, cross it over here. So the foot's on the ground. And then you're going to take this arm, front arm, back leg, use it to kind of twist the chest and reach back with that other arm back behind you. Start to look over that back shoulder and then rotate. You can keep that hand here, or you can cup your back glute with it and twist. Whatever feels good. Here, here. Just focus on twisting, trying to turn that chest to the back wall. There's a wall where you are, I suppose. Turn your gaze over that back shoulder. Working on that spinal mobility here. Opening that hip. You're going to feel a deeper stretch in that glute. Moving on, we're going to stack these two legs down. So you can go like this. We're just going to pull this top leg back. So the knees are stacked over, and then the feet just flare out like this. So your hips might be really tight, and it might be difficult to get into this position. If so, just stay here. We can come to a butterfly stretch with the heels together. And if you're feeling good here, you're going to start to pull forward and release, and you'll feel some deeper stretch in that top and bottom hip. Your feet flex, flex the knees. This stretch is great. We, as women, carry a lot of tension in our hips, and that affects our core function, our glute function, and so it's really important for postpartum as we're rehabbing our core to get that hip mobility, which will help with that. All right, we're going to do everything on the other side this time. So this time, we've got the opposite leg, the left leg forward, right leg back, flexing that foot, pulling into your groin. You can stay upright here, or if you're ready, feeling good, you go ahead and melt toward the floor. And you can stay propped up on your elbows. You can take it all the way down where your chest is on the floor. For me, that's a little too intense. I'm going to stay right here. But you do what works for you. You need to stay upright, or again, bend that back leg for that 90-90 hip stretch to modify it. We're going to cross over that back leg. So back leg crosses over the quad. Back arm comes forward. Using that elbow to kind of pull the chest. Walking that other arm back, looking over the shoulder, and twisting through that thoracic spine. You can cut that glute right here if you want to rotate a little more. One side you might find you can rotate more easily, you can get a little more mobility. And we're going to move into go ahead and stacking those knees, one on top of the other. And you can modify with a butterfly stretch, flex those feet, you can stay up here, or lean forward. I can tell here for me, it's this left hip, this left side that's really tight compared to the right, so it's a little hard for me on this side, and that may be the case for you too. One side's harder than the other, that's okay. You don't have to do the most advanced option on both sides. Do what works for you. It's a great way to even everything out. Especially when you have a baby, usually you're going to be carrying on one side, on one hip, breastfeeding on one side. So that one side gets maybe overused. And the other side will overcompensate for that and could cause injury. So it's really important to stretch and strengthen everything equally, individually as well. Unilateral training is what that's called. Alright, we're going to move on. your legs like this, doesn't really matter too much. What I'm going to have you do is just gently cup your head. One hand comes across, sweeping across the air. One arm comes on the floor. You're just going to gently take your neck, lean it over, just gently pull. You can walk straight out to the side, doesn't really matter here. But just gently stretching that neck. Not really pulling, just kind of letting your hand guide it. On. We're going to take this bottom arm, releasing it to the floor, and this top arm up and over. And a deeper stretch through that side body. Reach into that top arm, really reach into the fingertips. You're trying to pull your ribs off your hip, pull that lat, to release all that tension. I know I've got a lot of tension here. If it's too much, you can come up back onto your arm. You don't have to go all the way to your forearm if that doesn't feel right. We're going to do that same thing on the other side, gently cupping the head, pulling the neck. Keeping that hand on the floor. You want to get the hand on the floor so we create that little bit of line of pull. You just release the hand, you're kind of just going to flop over here. That hand on the ground really pulls those neck muscles. So where it feels like a nice deep stretch. And then if you're not comfortable, you can just pull a little bit less. You don't have to lean as far to the side. Top arm reaches up and over. Now your hips might want to lift here too. I'm going to say that the first time. Try not to let them lift, at least not to where you're really leaning into that side. You want to keep this hip down and this arm actively reaching, this arm actively pressing away, because that's going to create that line of pull again where you feel that stretch, right? You're not just kind of chilling here. We're actively stretching and opening. So another thing you can do here too is rotate your chest. See how I'm lifting and reaching up and over, rotating my chest as I do it. That's going to create a little bit of a deeper stretch. If you're not there with that yet, no big deal. You can also come back up here. But now when you pull out through that lat, pull the ribs off your hips, really feel that arm extending. That's a tough one. Honestly, it's hard for me to do some of these. Alright, we're going to come on to our back now. We bring the hands underneath your back, clasping the hands together, tucking those shoulders under, and then bridging the hips. So we're relaxed up here. And here, usually in a glute bridge, I want you to stay low to engage those glutes. Here, you can lift higher. So we release through those hip flexors. And then we're also pulling those shoulder blades together and creating a chest and a shoulder opener with that hand clasp. Now, whichever way you clasp your hands, I want you to unclasp and do the opposite direction. So, you get that natural clasp, and then the other side, which usually feels a little bit weird, but it's good. We're going to get both of those shoulders super open. It's a good workout for those glutes too. opening the hips. So right here, we're just keeping the feet flexed, outside of the feet, pulling the knees to the floor. Now you will probably find quickly your threshold, how low you can get. This is as low as I can get. Great, stop there. You want it to be slightly uncomfortable, but not forcing it, right? You don't want to force it to the point where you're not really getting a good stretch and you're just trying to achieve something. It's really great for opening those hips, inner thighs. Great spinal release for that low back. All right, we're going to move on. Now, taking the arms wide, taking one leg up and over, stretch that biceps femoris, this back part of your leg, in a little spinal twist. So you can keep this leg bent or straight. What I want you to pay attention to is this back arm, keeping that shoulder blade on the ground, rotate so you're looking toward the back hand. And then with that front hand, you're just pulling gently on that back of that leg to open up the glute. You can keep this like that, or you can straighten it, like I said, whatever feels good here. But we're actively pulling this leg forward and actively reaching back with the opposite arm, pulling the shoulder blade to the ground, so we really feel that rotation. Alright, we're moving on to the other side. Same thing, other leg, extend, and twist. And let that front shoulder blade melt to the ground. Now when you do that, you press that shoulder blade down and you're pulling through this leg. You are going to feel a really nice deep stretch. So it's not just, again, hanging out, collapsing into it like this. You're really creating that deep stretch that your hips really need here. That hard to get area, right? The piriformis, the biceps femoris, back here, all of the muscle gets super, super tight. Just from everyday life, especially if you're working out, doing like postpartum glute and core workouts, which you should. If you haven't, this is a great routine to add in after those workouts are on an off day. All right, we're going to move on now to a lying butterfly stretch. So we're going to stay here on our backs. You can keep your hands wide, you can take them down. You're going to bring your feet together, heels together, glue them together, and then just let those knees start to fall. So keeping those heels together again, so we're actively stretching. Let the hips fall open. Just do what feels natural here with your arms. There you have it. We're done. 20 minutes postpartum deep stretch. It's a great addition to any workout, or if you just want to do it on an off day, it's going to help relieve those tight